Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. So today I wanted to talk about why Obi-Wan didn't kill Darth Vader when he had the chance. The second chance he's had to do that now. Before we jump in, remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new and leave a like on the video. It's massively appreciated and it really helps the channel out, so thank you. So I just want to put this out there. Obviously, the reason Obi-Wan really didn't kill Darth Vader was because we kind of need him around still for the original trilogy. But we're going to be approaching this from an in-story perspective. So first of all, I just want to say episode 6, what an amazing episode. I think it's really pushed the character of Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker as well forwards, and it really enriches the story we get going into the original trilogy. And the fight we got in episode 6 was nothing short of breathtaking, if you ask me. I really enjoyed it. One of the best Star Wars fights, hand down. We really begun to see the evolution of these characters from where they were in the prequel trilogy to where we're going to see them in the original trilogy. We're at that gap in the middle at the moment, and that really shone through really well throughout this episode. So what we have to ask ourselves is, why did Obi-Wan defeat Darth Vader when Darth Vader is meant to be this almighty Dark Lord of the Sith, and Obi-Wan is a Jedi who up until recently had very little ability in the Force due to not using it? Well, the answer is simple. We've seen Obi-Wan progress throughout this series, and he's slowly been getting his mojo back, and it comes to a climax in episode 6. Okay, but with Darth Vader on the other hand, his dueling ability is massively diminished from when he lost to Obi-Wan on Mustafar. His limbs are robotic now, and they're not the best technology, and they are outdated. But on top of that, it also makes him a slower fighter. So rather than being faster as Anakin used to be, he now has to rely mostly on his strength and his power. And whilst Obi-Wan, on the other hand, can still do what he used to be able to do in the prequel trilogy, which makes Obi-Wan a more effective fighter with a lightsaber. However, Darth Vader is stronger with the Force. During this series, we do find out that Vader is still conflicted. He's still very much Anakin Skywalker behind that mask with Darth Vader, whereas we see him in the original trilogy, it's mostly Darth Vader at that point. And as Darth Vader has said, his weakness was Anakin, and that is actually true. Anakin's feelings towards Obi-Wan, I think, do shine through in the episode, especially when his mask is cracked, and I think that is the reason why he wasn't at his best when they were coming up against each other. So yeah, whilst it took a lot for Vader to even keep up with Obi-Wan, I do think from a psychological perspective as well, that was also working against him. And I do think these emotions explain why Vader allowed Kenobi to escape and didn't just put out the fire and continue to pursue him in episode 3. And then on the flip side of that, we have the emotions from Obi-Wan. The emotions 10 years after the last time they met each other are still very much present in Obi-Wan, and maybe they've actually intensified as he's had more time to reflect on it. And once he destroyed Vader's mask and saw Anakin, the face of Anakin, the eyes of Anakin looking back at him, I think it definitely hit Obi-Wan in a different way. He was ready to go up until that point, and then he sort of stood back. He was a bit taken aback by it. I think it was one of the moments where he knew it was Anakin, but it didn't really hit home for him effectively until he saw Anakin looking back at him. And at that moment he cried and told him he was sorry. It really got to Obi-Wan. Of course, Obi-Wan being a Jedi, the Jedi's philosophy, as we learned in episode 5, well, didn't learn, but as it was mentioned in episode 5, their goal is to preserve life, to save life and not take it. And that's exactly what he would have been going against if he had killed Vader in that moment, because it wouldn't have been the Jedi way. And he probably doesn't see Vader as the threat he once was. In episode 3, he was absolutely terrified of coming up against Vader, but now he looks at him as this broken, beaten down, sad man. Whereas beforehand he saw him as this Dark Lord of the Sith. And he's thinking to himself, well, I've beaten him twice now, once in his normal body and once with this powerful, strong body as Darth Vader, pulling fully on the dark side. So he's not the threat that I thought he was, and Obi-Wan just generally isn't scared of him anymore. As we see at the end of the episode, where he's casually just going around doing his own thing. He very much looks like Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's not trying to hide who he is at this point, I don't think. And I mean, he's even leaving Tatooine because he wants to now, to go to Alderaan to visit Leia, and I wonder if that's going to carry on. But basically, Obi-Wan isn't living in fear anymore. He even says to Reva he's free, and he is. He feels he's defeated Vader. He's got nothing else to show. Vader has been hell-bent on getting this rematch, and he wants to find Kenobi to get his revenge, and he had his chance, and Kenobi still came out on top. So Kenobi is up here at the moment and Vader's below him. I mean, when you think about it, he probably should have just killed Vader, but you know. And deep down, I think, you know, he doesn't blame Anakin or Vader for this. I think he blames Palpatine. In Revenge of the Sith, during their fight, you know, he was basically saying to Anakin, you know, Palpatine was lying, he lied to us all, and I think he fully puts the blame on Anakin's form, Palpatine. It would be really interesting if we actually ever saw Kenobi come up against Palpatine after Revenge of the Sith, because I think if there's one character in Star Wars that would invoke Obi-Wan tapping into the dark side, more so than when he was facing Maul in Episode 1, it would be Palpatine for what he's done to Anakin. So I think it's a mix of his feelings towards Anakin, the guilt he's had over the last 10 years. If he took him down then, he'd probably continue to feel that, whereas Anakin offered him closure by saying that he wasn't Obi-Wan's failure. And also the fact that it is going against his Jedi teachings, the Jedi way, and that he feels Vader's no longer a threat now. And I think sparing Vader's life just enriches the two characters for me and makes it so much more interesting than it already was, which is hard to top. I think there is still a level of respect between the two, and if you look back, Obi-Wan never speaks ill of Anakin, he only ever bigs him up. Not Vader, that's a different story, but Anakin, the boy he trained, his apprentice, his Padawan, his brother, he always speaks well and highly of him. He even said, thinking about it, he even said in Revenge of the Sith, you know, send me to kill the Emperor, I will not kill Anakin, to Yoda. And he's still standing by that, and that is still being honoured. There's probably been times over the years where Obi-Wan looks back at that duel on Mustafar and thinks, could he have handled things differently? If he didn't strike that blow to Anakin, if he dodged it, if he defended, and he didn't finish Anakin off with that blow, could things have turned out differently? He might have even thought if he didn't leave him there to burn in the lava and he saved him, could he be brought back? I don't think he would want to live with that again. By killing Vader in Episode 6 of Kenobi show, it would completely wipe away ever having that potential. Even though I think Obi-Wan is past that point, I don't think he's got it in him to actually do it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. That's my take of it. Do you think any different? Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new and leave a like. It's massively appreciated. I'll catch you in the next video. May the Force be with you.